It is not the College World Series, not yet. We will get to the College World Series in time, but this is the college baseball tournament. There are a lot of games. The bracket is massive. I am always honest with the audience. I have never, ever even been close to being a college baseball fan. If I have ever bet games in the College World Series, it has been because I just need action and just really want to have a bet on something, or like one of the people in my orbit that I now deal with as a result of the show, whether it be Ken or like one of the satellite members of the show, I will place a bet because someone likes something. This year, I am still not an expert and I am still not a fan, but I am more into it now than I've ever been before, and I look forward to hashtag spraying the board big time here because there's a lot of games, a lot of things to bet. And I think based on what our guests have told us and off-air conversations I've had with Ken, that I think we'll have some valuable bets that we'll place here, and maybe they'll win, maybe they won't, but I'm going to feel really good about it, and I just really candidly want to have a ton of action this weekend.
I'll start by saying I'm not betting Wake Forest to win the tournament. I think they are the best team. I think statistically they make all the sense in the world as a team that can win. They don't really have any flaws. Number one seeds have historically done awful in this tournament. It's been sort of NHL-esque with like the President's Trophy winning team. The team that has the most points in the regular season, like never wins the Stanley Cup or rarely wins the Stanley Cup. Hasn't happened a lot recently either. And the Bruins famously won the President's Trophy and then lost to Florida in the first round. Maybe you heard about that. So, it could be that team that's the number one seed is a great regular season team. Maybe there's something that they do that doesn't work as well in postseason kind of like tight games, that kind of stuff. So I think Wake can win, but I think the price is too short to want to bet them. So I'm kind of willing to be beaten by Wake Forest. Like if they win, great, no problem. They were the best team, but the price was always so short entering the tournament. At least I don't want to bet them. I won't go into a lot of why right now for teams, but the price and the two teams that I've been the most interested in so far are Florida and Virginia. And Virginia's prices are way all over the place. You got to shop them. There are 11s and there are 24s, just to give you an idea of how different the pricing is on Virginia. And there was a place that was 25 and now it's 21. So, but again, 21's better than 12. It's better than 11. That's a team you got to shop. Florida, you're going to find the same number almost everywhere. 8, 9, 950. That's what you're going to pay for Florida. So not as big of a difference there. I like those two teams the most. We can get into why when we talk about other teams, but my opening point here is Wake's great. They can win, but because of the price, I'm not going to bet them. Instead, I'm going to bet Florida and Virginia.
Like Ken, I'm all in on Florida. I think this team rocks. I think they're awesome. And I think that, $9.50 is awesome price for them. Virginia, just they are really good. And as a holder of an ECU long shot from before the season, as soon as I saw ECU in the same region as Virginia, I groaned out loud. Reed Wallach DM'd me, is like, how are we looking with ECU? And I just audibly groaned. I was like, I got really bad news, Reed. I'm sorry. I hate to break this news to you. I was like, it's not impossible, but it's really not great. So Virginia is awesome. I will say, though, assuming Virginia wins that region and advances, and assuming Coastal Carolina wins their region and advances, and those two play each other, I'm going to be really interested in that game and possibly betting Coastal Carolina. I think they're a team with a lot of potential and a lot of upside as a team that won it just a couple years ago and has been really good at home and on the road. So that's going to be really interesting to me. But to echo Ken's point, I love Florida. I think they're really, really good.
I just love any sentence that begins with, Reed Wallach DM'd me.
And said, how we looking? Like Reed Wallach just big timing his way into the DMs of Jake Hasan.
I paraphrased.
Hey, Gunner, how we doing?
Talking the college baseball tournament with our pal Johnny Venezia of Bet Karma on Twitter at _JohnnyVTV. Johnny, give us some dark horses here that you like here in this tournament.
So I think one of the teams that I just mentioned, Dallas Baptist, is a really good team, an interesting team to look at, because what is so important when you get into this region, aside from pitching, but things that you really can't necessarily control, is the matchups. And a lot of these teams that have good matchups and a clear path are the ones that you have to look out for. And I think that is the case with the Dallas Baptist. They're going to get the Washington Huskies, who is like a Jekyll and Hyde team. You never know when they're going to show up. And, I don't really trust Pac-12 baseball. But aside from playing them in game one, which I do think they win tomorrow, I think they're better than Oklahoma State. And then if they win this region, they go play Vanderbilt. And, Vandy boys, they're built off pitching, and their hitting has been very shady this year. You just don't know which version of them you're going to get. And I feel like Dallas Baptist 65-1 is interesting. I, of course, love my Camels at 60-1. They are the only team in the nation that's top 10 in home runs and stolen bases. By the way, they are 11th in average, and they have an ace, a Friday night guy by the name of Cade Cooler, who might be a first-round pick this year. So I would definitely be looking at those teams that are past the 50-1 mark if you're looking to get some skin in the game on these long shots. And, Nick, I got one more for you. Super long shot at 500-1. That's the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles behind the stellar pitching staff. And, you know, again, in this Oklahoma State regional, if it's not DBU, I think it could be Oral Roberts because the amount of pitching they have, and they're the hottest team in college baseball. They've won 18 games straight. And if they get out of this region, they're going to play Vanderbilt like DBU would. And, you know, I think Vandy is vulnerable this year. And once you get to Omaha, anything can happen. That's why college baseball is the people's sport.
I'll hit every region in like 5 seconds each, 10 seconds each, just if you wanted to bet it, because I think these markets are really fun. The Auburn regional, like no strong opinion. Auburn, if I had to bet it, but not really interested. If you wanted to bet the LSU region, I mean, the only bet I would consider is like longest possible price Oregon State, but LSU is very likely to win it. So that's pretty correct. It's just like how long a price can you find on Oregon State? I bet a lot of money on Virginia to win their region. East Carolina's in it. That's the team you would be concerned about. I think Virginia is that good. I think the difference between the teams is larger than this. Can be wrong. I know, like, not Jake's not alone. A lot of people like East Carolina. I like Virginia. The Clemson region, like, no strong opinion. It's a pretty wild number on Tennessee, even though they have some flaws, but no opinion. The South Carolina region, if this starts moving even more, I know everybody, like, Campbell is like the hot team that everyone's been like selling on our show, and it's fun to sell them. Like, they're the Camels, they're the best offense in college baseball. It's like a fun story. If South Carolina is going to get up to like plus 120 in some places to win a home regional, with Campbell being the challenger, like, I'm good. Campbell is like the worst team in college baseball defensively, and they're the worst team in the tournament defensively. I think if they get in a close game against somebody, probably not great. Also, they probably hit a bunch of homers against teams that aren't as good as South Carolina. This just feels like a kind of like a mushed good story where South Carolina's price is pretty good. Coastal, no opinion. Miami and Texas, no opinion. Like Arkansas to win their region. Colin came on and liked that as well. Totally agree. Minus a small price on them. I laid Florida and laid a lot on them to win because I hate the other three teams so much. So like Florida, Kentucky, West Virginia, no opinion. I would not lay prices on Vandy, but I can't figure out who I want to bet to beat them. I like A&M, and I don't like Stanford in that region. So best price on A&M. I like Dallas Baptist, but like Washington could win. I had somebody really smart tell me they bet Washington to win that region. You could make a case for Oklahoma State. Total toss-up, all small lean Dallas Baptist, maybe worth a couple bucks. The Indiana State region's the most fun to try to figure out because the three teams could all potentially win. Somebody smart told me they like North Carolina a lot. Johnny came on and told you maybe it's Iowa because Indiana State stinks. I think that could be a fun one to bet as well. But two strongest would probably be Arkansas and Virginia and Texas A&M would probably be the three.